I absolutely hate this. The NBA draft continues on, and Daryl Morey was back at the helm, selecting Johni Broome with the 35th overall pick in this year's NBA draft. The Auburn product is a big man set to turn 23, and this is not exactly the pick that I imagine for this Sixers team. Do you want to talk about what his strengths and weaknesses are, what Daryl Morey could have possibly seen that I am missing in this, and the overall conversation on what direction they went with this pick? Now, I do want to lead with I am not a Johni Broome guy. I just straight up am not. I don't see the vision for him as an NBA player. I just don't. I think he's a little too limited athletically. I don't think there's enough in his game beyond the raw center skills, the basic skills of setting screens, getting rebounds, blocking shots. That's about where I see the limit for him. The people that are trying to sell me the vision of him as a passer and all these untapped potentials, I just don't quite see it. But let's walk through the exercise here. Now, I do want to start off with a little bit of the measurables here. Shout out to Austin Krell of On Pattison here, who tweets, Johni Broome was listed at 6'9", 0.25, 249 pounds at the NBA Combine, a 7-foot wingspan, a 1.81 to 1 assist to turnover ratio, which is very good for a big man, with 2 blocks as a senior. He shot 27.8.3% from beyond the three-point arc on 30 attempts per game. Also decent volume there. Now, the thing that I will note as far as the athleticism in the Combine there, for all those that are skeptical of the Johni Broome tape there, take a peek at that Combine workout. That vertical is a little bit ugly looking. I will note that. But I don't want to be an anti-Johni Broome guy. But I do want to stay open-minded. And frankly, I hope I'm wrong with this. That I would way rather be wrong about the case, me personally, and for him to help contribute to the Sixers team. But I do have to call it how I see it. And to walk through a bit more of who he is as a basketball player, did want to bring up this scouting report from Babcock Hoops here that says the strengths. Number 1, rim protection. An effective shot blocker with excellent timing and a 7-foot wingspan. Number 2, rebounding. That he dominates the glass on both ends with strength and positioning. Number 3, low post scoring. Can finish through contact and score in various ways around the rim. Number 4, screen setting. He creates space for teammates as a strong and effective screener. And number 5, developing stretch big potential. That he shows flashes of three-point shooting ability and mid-range touch. Now, the concerns, lateral quickness right at the top of the list, that he struggles with perimeter defenders when switching into smaller and quicker players. His three-point consistency, he needs to improve efficiency and confidence as a long-range shooter. Number 3, the playmaking reads. He can make basic passes, but struggles with advanced decision-making under pressure. And to dive into his stats as a whole, that he started off his collegiate career at Morehead State, spent the first 2 years there where he pretty much tore things up, then did transfer to Auburn, one of the beneficiaries of the NIL era, that he was able to capitalize on that and stuck around for this super senior year, the 5th year, where he really put it all the way together here. In this final season, he averaged 18.6 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, which led the conference there, 2.9 assists per game, 2.1 blocks per game, which is very appealing, as the numbers indicate, 27.8% from beyond the three-point arc. I will note the season prior that he shot 35.4%. That is a pretty significant gap there, and I would feel differently if I felt that 35% was reliable there. I just don't quite think that is the case, but he did shoot 51% from the floor, a 53.4% effective field goal percentage here. Now, why I think Daryl Morey made this selection, I understand the logic behind going with the big man. I would have gone at the kid out of Stanford. Renault is, I believe, how you pronounce it, or Renault is how you pronounce it. That dude's a double-double machine who can shoot the ball a little bit. I trust that a little more. Johni Broome is exactly who he is. Now, who he is as a basketball player, he's a tone setter. He's another guy who's going to leave it all on the floor. He will physically impose himself on basketball games. That he is going to be a guy that leaves 100% on the floor. He's going to give you whatever he's got here. Now, with that said, what he's got is just not exactly what I see the vision for what this Sixers team needs. I get the Joel Embiid conversation is relevant to all of this, and I understand that investing in an insurance policy is probably the right approach to this point. But why at this stage in the game, at the 35th pick, when you already have this guard combo that you've built below, are you taking a chance on this guy who essentially is a finished product as he enters the NBA? That I don't see any untapped potential in who Johni Broome is. That this is going to be a dude who is exactly what he is. He's a basic skill center that is going to do the basic things and not much beyond that. Now, for the people that want to sell me on the vision on the playmaking, and I do want to give a little love to my guy Tony Jones here, who I had a little back and forth with on Twitter immediately after the pick, and I've gotten some hate. There seem to be some Johni Broome fans out there, but I did want to start with this from Tony Jones, whose opinion I do respect, a good basketball brain. He quote tweets the initial, and I guess to set it up here, that my initial reaction was, this is a gross pick. I hate it. I don't see a world where this guy is an NBA player, and I don't think I said this, I may have thought this, but something along the lines of, my honest opinion right now is I don't think this is a second contract guy. I think this is a dude who was a one and done in the NBA and probably does not stick around, probably makes a living for himself playing overseas. That is my feel on Johni Broome on the short term. Again, I would love for him to prove me wrong. I will be rooting for the kid the second he puts on a Sixers uniform, but I do got to call it as I see it. Now, I quote tweet that, and then I get accused, I've never seen him play, to which I reply to that, have seen him plenty. He's going to be one of the worst athletes in the league without a jump shot or passing feel. Hope he proves me wrong, but I don't see it. And Tony Jones quote tweets me and says, well, that part is wrong. Broome is an elite passer. It's the best part of his game. Now, I like Tony. As I mentioned, I followed up saying we can respectfully disagree on that. He tries as a passer, but still wouldn't consider it above average on an NBA scale. And he quote tweets that and says, no doubt, brother, you will quickly see, though. Broome is an absolutely tremendous passer. You can run offense through him. That's how good of a passer he is. I do agree with a lot of your other concerns about him ever. I just don't see a world where that's true with Johni Broome, to be perfectly honest with you. And I've had a very similar discussion with, shout out to my guys at Fox Sports The Gambler, Sam Ostry in particular, who's a huge Derek Queen fan. I keep putting this point out here as well. Derek Queen, he keeps selling me the vision that this dude can be the hub of an offense, is the phrase that he continues to use. The real facts here with Derek Queen, and I understand I'm getting sidetracked here, Derek Queen averaged 1.9 assists per game. He had a negative assist to turnover ratio. He never had more than 5 assists in a game, and he had 1 or fewer assists in 19 of his 36 collegiate games. You can squint and see the skill set and want guys to grow into these shoes, but the reality is sometimes that is not true. I think a lot of people have seen Nikola Jokic dominate the NBA from the big man position and seen how easy he makes it look and think we can find another guy like that. I just don't think that is the reality here. So for Daryl Morey in particular, to go with Johni Broome at that 35th pick, I get that this is taking a swing, taking a shot in the dark, that this isn't going to make or break their season to any extent, but this is the least favorite pick, my least favorite pick that Daryl Morey has ever made since he's been in control of the Sixers. Even the other decisions, Paul Reed, Isaiah Joe, you can go down the list of decisions that he's made from a draft pick perspective. I always sort of saw the vision. I just kind of don't with this one. That I think Johni Broome is exactly who he is. He is a guy that's going to leave it all on the floor. He does fit to that good character or high intensity sort of personality that they continue to try and build in the Sixers organization. And to his credit, he was asked about his mindset and everything immediately following being selected, to which he said, quote, I'm a winner. I get things done offensively and defensively, so the Sixers got a good one. And I do love this quote. Again, I want to reinforce, I will not be rooting against this guy to any extent, but this to me is a huge miss. I could have named 5 to 10 names that I would have had above Johni Broome in that particular spot, and frankly, I just don't see the short-term or long-term impact, especially after they invested in a guy like a Dembona last year. Andre Drummond's still going to be on this roster, whether we like it or not. I don't see the short-term role. I don't see the long-term potential, and I don't see the sense that this just made at the 35th pick. So I hope I'm eating these words here, that I hope Daryl Morey has a plan and understands and is seeing something that I'm missing here. But I think a lot of people are trying to squint and put these big men that can sort of pass into the conversation of these guys can be legitimate playmakers, when I do think there are levels to this game here. Joel Embiid is a fine passer. Joel Embiid has averaged 4.5 assists per game. He might have been even over 5 one year. Would you consider Joel Embiid an advanced passer? I would not by any means. And again, he's improved. He's gotten way better in that category. But my point still stands that I think that level of playmaking, for that to go through a big man on the floor like that, it's just, you got to be really special, and I don't think Johni Broome does crack that list. So my expectations for him this year, I do think he'll get an opportunity. I do hope he uses his physicality, his size, his strength, and the dude has some dog to him, that he plays through injuries, he competes, he leaves it all on the floor once again, but it will be very interesting to see what the grand plan is here from here, or what direction Daryl Morey does want to go, because this is the biggest miss that I can see in the Daryl Morey era. I do hope once again that I am wrong and that he ultimately performs and is exactly what the Sixers need. But more questions than answers for me on this 35th pick, and would like to hear Daryl Morey's thoughts on exactly why they went this direction following the draft. So I will be reacting to that whenever that does go down. Appreciate you guys for tuning into this video here. Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your reaction. Am I completely off the mark? Are you a Johni Broome fan? You ready to buy a jersey right now? I think this was the missing piece on this Sixers roster. Drop those thoughts below. Would love to hear them. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, dropping a like on this video here, and I'll be back. Talk with you next time. Peace.